Resilient. Joining me now, Texas Congressman Roger Williams. He's chairman of the House Small Business Committee, member of the House Financial Services Committee. Congressman, your reaction to the now takeover, the absorption by J.P. Morgan of First Republic?
Well, I think it's good news. Actually, it creates a calming effect for Main Street America, the small business owners and big investors. So I think it's the right thing, and we don't have the people bailing someone out again. The bank stepped up, and looks like they made a good investment. But I think it's a good deal. It's good news this morning. Okay, so you think it's a good deal. We'll see if other banks follow. We've had we already had some strategists come on today and say they're concerned that there are going to be more banks to come. If that's the case, if we look at other banks and they start to get into trouble, how far is DC willing to go here? House Financial Services. At what point do you step in to maybe try and stop what we're seeing, which is potentially another run on another bank out there to be determined? Yeah, I think you can look ahead, but the whole thing's mismanagement. Any business can be managed properly or not managed properly, and we saw in these last three cases with the banks that they were not really managed properly and so forth. So hopefully banks will be able to take a look at that, look at themselves where they have a problem. But I do think from a business standpoint this morning, it does have a calming effect on business across our country, especially small business, and actually community banks will, I think, reap a benefit from this, because a lot of smaller investors might be worried about their community bank. But right now, if they see this, they think that they're going to be okay, which is the right thing and is the truth, that they can continue to do business and maybe risk some capital and start a new business.
Okay, well, we'll see how this story plays out today. So the Biden administration's new mortgage rules, sir, I want to ask you about this. This goes into effect today. This penalizes home buyers with good credit. So borrowers with lower credit scores can pay less. House Republicans introducing a bill to block the law. They call it the Responsible Borrowers Act. Chris Murkowski is on set with me. He thinks there's going to be lawsuits. Congressman, first to you on your thoughts on this.
Well, I think it's pretty unbelievable that we're asking people that have got good credit to basically bail out those with bad credit. Now, a lot of people have poor credit for a lot of obvious reasons, but you can't penalize people who have good credit. I mean, these are people that spend money. These are people that actually start businesses and employ people. And when you begin to penalize them, you create a level playing field, which is not what America is all about. I mean, there's risk and reward, which makes Main Street and the reason America is really good. So I don't think you can and you should penalize those that pay their bills on time to help those that are having a problem making their payments on time. It's not what America was built on, but it just goes to show you what the Biden administration is doing. They're trying to create an average mentality across our country where people eventually reach out to the government for help.
Not only that, it's Congressman, it's National Small Business Week, and I know this is your wheelhouse. We spend over $2 trillion a year on government regulations. This is just another example, another government regulation. It's another cost. My concern is, we're talking about First Republic, is they're going to pile on more regulations. And again, we can go back to 2007, 8, 9. We lost a lot of small banks and small lending institutions because of the regulations that they couldn't afford to pay. What are you guys doing in Congress right now to pull back regulations? I'm a small business owner. My clients are small business owners, to make it easier for us.
Well, I'm a small business owner also, and regulations are choking Main Street America. And then we got this Rule 1071 that requires so much more regulation on our banks to do business with Main Street America. And we got a bill that's trying to totally do away with that. The problem is your banks, for example, are hiring more compliance officers and loan officers. Small business people like yourself and myself are having harder time to get lines of credit, to create capital, start businesses, to put people to work. And we need to release those regulations. Let competition work. Competition is the greatest thing we have here in America with small businesses. Compete for a customer's business. Let the customer decide who's doing a good job, who's not the federal government, because businesses cannot compete against the federal government. And that's what they're trying to create right now, the Biden administration. And again, it's a losing proposition.
let customers decide, let risk and reward get back into our mainstream, and let businesses survive and grow and hire people.
Absolutely. That's what we were saying in the last hour, Congressman. Real quick before you go, I've just got a few seconds here, but I got to ask you about El Paso. They're expected to declare a new state of emergency today ahead of the end of Title 42. Obviously, you're a Texas congressman. I got to ask you about this. And then you've got Brownsville. They've already declared a state of emergency. Greg Abbott sends in more than 50 National Guard Humvees. He's ordering them to line the banks of the Rio Grande. What do you say, sir?
Well, he's doing everything he can do. I mean, we've done everything in Texas we can do. Federal government, of course, is ignoring what we have happening down here. The border, we are being invaded. That's the word we must use. We are being invaded at the border of Texas coming into our country. And the federal government needs to step up. I mean, I'm one of those that said we need to put the military down there and certainly go after this drug cartels that are destroying future generations of our country. But Governor Abbott's done everything he can. We tried to put a wall up. We got troops going down there and so forth. But the federal government needs to take a stand and step up and look at it as an invasion, which is just literally killing our country and future generations.
Congressman Roger Williams of Texas. Congressman, it's great to have you here this morning. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Cheryl.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, coming up, the